Hey travel friends, today on Doodle the Travel Bug, it's another episode of Graveyard Picnic. Yeah, it's a thing. This is where we travel to a famous grave and have a picnic with food associated with our deceased guest of honor. Today we're visiting the grave of one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. We are traveling to Fall River, Massachusetts, to Oak Grove Cemetery, to the final resting place of Lizzie Borden. In 1892, Lizzie Borden was accused of brutally murdering her father and stepmother. She has a small, unassuming headstone with just the word Lizbeth. And now, with the main suspect in a murder case just 6 feet under us, we dine and discuss. Guys, it's another what? Sound more excited, Alec.
We're holding Meatloaf, and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, so...
You're ruining the surprise! I've been up all morning making meatloaf. Alright, so we are at the grave of Lizzie Borden. I don't know that the boys know who this is, but there's a famous nursery rhyme for her. Do you remember it, Daddy?
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. And when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41.
She was accused of murdering her stepmom and her father. And there was a lot of evidence against her, but she did ultimately get acquitted. And they found her not guilty, mostly because she was a young lady and church-going, and the crime didn't seem to go with something so brutal as killing people with axes. People in the community still had their questions about her. And amazingly, she really didn't move from this area. She stayed in this area and I think was hoping that one day her name would be cleared. Never really was. I think she ended up ultimately dying of pneumonia in maybe her late 60s. We have meatloaf on this graveyard picnic. Do you know why we have meatloaf?
No idea.
Is it meat?
Because it's meat? No, because it is actually, I got it from this cookbook, Food to Die For. This is actually Lizzie Borden's recipe. And you can find the recipe here. The city has actually a handwritten recipe in their historical foundation, has a handwritten recipe for this meatloaf in Lizzie Borden's handwriting. So
you read every third letter, it says, I did it and killed my parents with an axe.
Shut up. All right, meatloaf time.
You need to go at it with the chopping motion.
You might. This isn't my meatloaf. There's a lot of meat, not a lot of veggies in this. There's a little bit of an onion, but that's it. Marco.
Here, fork.
What do you think? Tastes like meatloaf?
To die for.
So there was a lot of evidence against her. There was talk that she tried to buy a poison the day before. She said it was to clean something. It was some type of acid, but the pharmacist wouldn't sell it to her. She was hanging out in the basement and didn't hear anything. The mom was only one, floor up and got brutally attacked with an axe and hit like 20 times and fell to the floor, and she said she didn't hear anything. So, but what really leads me to believe she did it is the dad chopped off the heads of her pet pigeons because he thought they were getting young boys who wanted to hunt them coming over to the house. And so they messed with her pigeons, and we know this creates a monster because of Mike Tyson. Somebody killed his pet pigeon, and it kind of turned him into a killing machine.
My first fight, this guy took one of my pigeons, and...
Don't mess with people's pigeons. They're beloved animals. So, yeah, I have my questions too. She may have done it.
Borden and Abby Borden?
Yes, were
Both
murdered
died in 1892.
1892. Okay. So yeah, this is the Borden Monument.
She was
Here's
in the
children.
basement? How many
Yes.
houses had basements you would hang out in 1892?
She was home with their housekeeper, so they were really the only ones there at the time.
What happened to the housekeeper? We're gonna solve this right here.
I think people know the story, sweetheart, a lot better than we do.
I'm on to something. I know it.
Now only a 5-minute drive from the cemetery is the Lizzie Borden house turned B&B.
So across the street from Lizzie Borden's house is this sign. Fall River Sign Department, well done. All right, well done. That's top-notch work. I love it.
This is the place where in summer of 1892, someone, maybe Lizzie, turned this house into a crime scene. You can take a tour and walk through the rooms and hear all the ghost stories. Or you can book an overnight stay and possibly even sleep in the same exact spot where Abby Borden met her violent end.
For more unique travel shows, like and subscribe to see where Doodle Bug goes next.